The original structure is truly one of a kind in that we don't see anything like it anywhere else on Earth.
And it looked just like a giant eye from all the way up in space. It came to be known as the Eye of the Sahara.
Do you know about the recent terrifying discoveries made in the deserts? No? Then you better stay.
Bones of a dinosaur were discovered that are believed to be the largest creature ever to walk the Earth.
We are really excited about this discovery.
Because these strange mysteries...
These lines are incredibly long, perhaps miles, and they're straight as a ruler.
Some of the lines are thousands of meters, all the way up to 25 miles, and this is quite incredible.
Secret alien hideouts and crazy phenomena are something you've never seen before.
Look at this.
So let's begin. We are back in the Sahara Desert, where there is a fascinating structure that resembles a giant eye when viewed from above. Astronauts first noticed this incredible formation, known as the Eye of the Sahara, from space.
And it looked just like a giant eye from all the way up in space. Hence, it came to be known as the Eye of the Sahara.
This massive circular shape stretches about 30 miles wide and features a center surrounded by rings of stone and sand. It has been more than 50 years since its discovery. Locally, it's called Guelber Richa, or the Richat structure. Scientists believe this unique feature has volcanic roots.
This formation is considered to be a geological feature that is volcanic in nature. However, there is still scientific mystery to it.
While conspiracy theorists believe something from outer space created it during their mission millions of years back.
The original structure is truly one of a kind in that we don't see anything like it anywhere else on Earth.
What are your thoughts? Snowfall in desert. Now allow me to blow your lights out with this next video. It's going to sound surprising, but it occasionally snows in the Sahara Desert. This footage recorded the phenomenon back in 2022. Snow in the Sahara is unusual, but not unheard of. For snow to occur, two main weather conditions must come together: cold temperatures and moist air. When air rises and cools, moisture in the air can freeze if the temperature is low enough. This creates snow crystals, which can eventually lead to a snowfall. If the ground is also cold, the snow can stay on the surface without melting right away. Snow in the desert. What a fun thing to witness, right? Whale Valley Secrets. Did you know there is an actual place called the Whale Valley? Also known as Wadi al-Haytan, this amazing site located about 100 kilometers southwest of Cairo, Egypt. It's famous for its fossilized remains of early whales, known as Archaeoceti. Whales in Egypt? Crazy, right?
Look at this.
Yes!
Fossils taken out of the cliff.
This tells the story of how these creatures evolved from land dwellers into ocean mammals. This makes it one of the most important places in the world to study whale evolution.
Look at this. Can you see the shark teeth?
Look at that.
Yeah.
Since the early 20th century, over 400 whale skeletons have been found here, along with fossils of other marine life, like shellfish. Around 40 million years ago, the area was once a shallow sea. One of the most exciting finds was in 1989, when researchers discovered a whale with small hind legs, showing how whales were once adapted to land. Strange giants. A tourist captured this unbelievable sight that was captured on the mountainside of Delijan Road in Iran. From far away, the rock formation closely looks like a giant sitting and staring into the distance. Some believe it could be evidence of ancient giants, possibly the Nephilim mentioned in the Bible. They think these giants were cursed or turned to stone by a higher power, and these figures are the remnant of these mythical beings. Others, however, think it's just a naturally formed rock, shaped over time by wind and weather. So which side are you on? Let me know in the comments below. Unearthing a dinosaur. In 2018 and 2019, a film crew joined Sereno and his team as they explored the desert in Niger. What were they doing? Digging up dinosaur bones. The work was slow and required careful planning and a lot of patience, but it paid off when they made an exciting discovery. There were remains of a long-necked dinosaur's backbone poking out of the sandy ground. These bones had been buried for almost 170 million years. The crew carefully worked around the fossil, although they did find some ancient people's remains as well. This long-necked dinosaur was what made their expedition remarkable. Strange discovery. Next up, we have this group of friends who decided to dig a hole in a desert. As they dug deeper, one of them felt something hard and bony beneath the sand. He knew this could only mean one thing. They continued digging and ended up finding a strange white object buried underneath. According to Redditors, what they uncovered appeared to be a small alien body. The creature was tiny, with an odd structure that didn't look human. A small gadget was also found near the alien as well. So do you think this is real? Dinosaur Tale. In 2021, a team of paleontologists working in the northern desert of Mexico unearthed a remarkable fossilized dinosaur tail, estimated to be around 72 million years old. This 5-meter-long tail belonged to a hadrosaur, a plant-eating dinosaur known for its duck-like beak. Interestingly, houses existed in this area back in those ancient times and were fairly common. The team stumbled upon the fossil while excavating, finding it in an impressively well-preserved state. This excellent preservation provides researchers with a rare opportunity to closely examine the joints and bones of this prehistoric creature. Gobi Desert Bones. We know that about 250 million years ago, dinosaurs ruled the Earth, especially the land that is now the Gobi Desert. How did dinosaurs even survive in the desert? Well, back then, it wasn't even desert. Today, this vast stretch of sand holds many secrets from the past. Since the first dinosaur fossils were found here in 1921, the Gobi has attracted paleontologists and archaeologists eager to uncover ancient remains. Recently, a paleontologist found a dinosaur bone buried beneath the shifting sands. Dinosaurs vanished from this area around 60 million years ago, likely due to fierce storms and sand avalanches that buried them. However, their bones still lie hidden under layers of sand, waiting to be found. UFO mystery. Recently, a very strange event has occurred in Saudi Arabia's desert, where a UFO was reportedly seen landing. Yes, what you are seeing here is very real. The footage showed odd-looking beings emerging from what seemed to be an alien spacecraft. The craft is weird itself, and the fact that it was in the Middle East also makes it interesting, because people already believe that structures like the Giza pyramids were created by them. What were these otherworldly beings doing in the Middle East of all places? Do you think it was a real alien encounter, or just cleverly CGI? Tomb for Generals. On April 18, 2019, Egypt shared some news about the discovery of 2 ancient tombs in Luxor, a city known for its rich history. Sure, there are a lot of tombs in Egypt, so what's special about this one? Well, these tombs are a burial site for high-ranking officials. The tombs date back around 3,500 years, from the time of the 18th dynasty during the New Kingdom.
The day started by the announcement of a discovery of a new Saf tomb, which preserve some colors and a lot of fragments, as you saw.
Researchers said that one of the tombs is the largest in the area, so huge that there are 18 different entrances. This incredible discovery sheds light on ancient Egyptian life and burial customs. Egypt hopes that these newly found tombs will help boost its tourism industry, which has faced challenges due to extremist attacks and political unrest since the 2011 protests and uprising. Well of Hell. For many years, the Well of Hell in Yemen's Al-Mara desert has been a source of mystery. Local legends claim that this enormous hole is home to many demons and other dark creatures. A daring group of cavers decided to investigate the site and see what lay at the bottom. What they found was very fascinating. At the base of the hole, they encountered snakes and the remains of animals. And according to scientists, the demons are not even behind it. The animals could not survive in the harsh environment. But the locals deny all these claims and call it a demon's hole. Ship lost in desert. Ship? In the desert? You must be thinking, what parallel world are we living in? But this is true. The wreck of the Edouard Bolin is a reminder of the charm of Namibia's Skeleton Coast. This cargo ship ran aground on September 5, 1909, when thick fog trapped it. Now, it rests half buried in the sand, far from the ocean it once sailed. What makes the Edouard Bolin fascinating is its unusual position. The ship appears stranded in the middle of the desert. This is more than 1,000 feet away from the nearest water. Over the years, shifting sands have slowly swallowed the shoreline, pushing the sea back and leaving the ship isolated in the dunes. Slaves Hill. In 1964, archaeologists uncovered this surprise in Israel's Timna Valley, a large collection of ancient mines stretching across almost 30 square miles. They were located about 200 miles south of Jerusalem in the harsh Israeli desert. This site features thousands of mines, with some shafts going more than 40 meters deep. Experts believe these mines were dug by people who had no choice but to work in the challenging desert conditions, where the heat was intense and food and water were scarce. It's thought that these workers were likely slaves, prisoners, or captives from wars, and they were forced to work for a powerful entity. The discovery of 10 workers' camps strengthens this idea. One of those camps is known as Slaves Hill. Giant discovery. This next video comes from Argentina, where paleontologists have discovered the remains of a titanosaur that lived about 98 million years ago. Now we know there have been thousands of fossil finds, but what's particularly interesting about this is that according to research published on January 12, 2021, these fossilized bones might belong to the largest creature ever to roam the Earth. The fossils were first found in 2012, but digging didn't start until 2015. Excavating these enormous bones was a tough task, but the team was excited to uncover pieces that showed just how massive this dinosaur was. Titanosaurs were known for their huge bodies and long necks, and this discovery helps us learn more about them. Lizard discovery. This TikTok explorer came across a really rare lizard during his trip to the desert. He noticed this strange little reptilian creature running across his path.
Yes, un super beau poisson des sables. Regardez, c'est un lézard qui s'appelle.
The creature was quick and slippery, and you can see that he was trying hard to capture it. He finally does. Let's pause and try to analyze what this thing is. It looks like a lizard.
Regardez la couleur de ce lézard, franchement, couleur sable, un peu jaune.
Wriggling and squirming, trying to escape from the TikToker's hands. It has 2 different shades, which is a little weird. Skeletons of Kolistan. Let's now have a look at this footage from Kolistan Desert, where skeletons of animals were discovered. Explorers and researchers found these remains scattered across the sandy area. The Kolistan Desert is known for its extreme weather, with blazing hot days and chilly nights, so it would make sense that some animals don't survive such harsh conditions. They suspect that the remains might belong to local wildlife, like camels, which are common in this area. Machimosaurus Rex. You must have heard of the T-Rex, now meet M-Rex, or Machimosaurus Rex, and no, it's not a dinosaur. This fossil was found by a team of archaeologists. Its white bones were sticking out of the ground. Unlike scattered remains, these bones formed a clear outline of a massive crocodile. This crocodile was huge, and it measured over 5 feet long. As they began to excavate, it quickly became apparent that this was no ordinary crocodile. They realized they might be uncovering a species unknown to science. They decided to name it Machimosaurus Rex. This marine crocodile was part of a group of large-bodied crocodiles that went extinct at the end of the Jurassic period. The Machimosaurus Rex once roamed what is now southern Tunisia around 25 million years ago. Deadvay. Deadvay is a striking white clay pan found close to the well-known Sossusvlei salt pan in Namibia's Namib Naukluft Park. This incredible place is surrounded by some of the tallest sand dunes in the world. They reach up to between 300 and 400 meters. The clay pan came into existence when the Socheb River flooded, which formed shallow pools that allowed camel thorn trees to grow here. However, the climate eventually changed, which brought drought to the region. The shifting sand dunes blocked the river from reaching the pan, leaving the trees without water. Now, the remains of these trees stand tall and have been doing so for the last 600 to 700 years. The interesting thing is, these trees are not alive. The intense sunlight has turned their wood black, and the dry conditions have prevented them from decomposing. Echoing rocks. In the great desert of Algeria, some unusual rocks have caught the attention of explorers. When these rocks are struck, they give off a hollow sound. It is very much like an empty metal tank. Rocks are supposed to be solid and have a banging sound like it's something heavy, but this, I have never seen or heard rocks making these types of sounds. Local stories suggest these rocks might hold secrets from ancient times, or perhaps even come from another world. Stories from Pompei. Archaeologists in Pompei discovered the well-preserved remains of two men believed to have perished during the eruption of Mount Vesuvius nearly 1,500 years ago. The skeletons were found beneath a building called the Casti Amanti, or House of Chaste Lovers. It seems that an earthquake struck just as the volcano was erupting in October 79 AD, causing the wall to collapse. This disaster was catastrophic for the area. The population decreased significantly after this. It is believed that around 80% of the people there were evacuated from the place. Some had a tragic ending, which is the reason this place has such grim but historical significance. Mummified crocodiles. Until now, we thought tombs were only for humans, but this footage contradicts everything we know. A team of Spanish archaeologists recently found out that in Egypt, there is an undisturbed tomb containing 10 mummified crocodiles. These creatures are thought to be from the pre-Ptolemaic era, which is before 304 BC. In ancient Egypt, crocodiles were important in religious rituals, especially those dedicated to Sobek, which is the god of water and fertility. Sobek was believed to control the waters of the Nile, and because of this, crocodiles were highly regarded and often sacrificed as offerings to him. The tomb had been sealed for thousands of years, keeping the mummified crocodiles in excellent condition. Just imagine how hard it must have been for them to capture these. Ancient mummy. Peru has seen its fair share of discoveries, but this one takes the cake. Archaeologists have uncovered a 3,000-year-old pre-Hispanic mummy on the outskirts of Lima. The mummy was discovered buried alongside coca leaves and seashells, which were part of a ritual ceremony. It was located on top of the remains of a destroyed U-shaped clay temple. This is a very common feature in ancient pre-Hispanic structures. Before unearthing the mummy, archaeologists spent months clearing about 8 tons of garbage that covered the site. The hill itself is known as a huaca, meaning sacred place or oracle in the Quechua language. This is truly fascinating. Fish river in desert. Fish in the desert? That doesn't sound right. Fish in a river in the desert would make some sense, but this is something entirely different. A river of fish moving across the hot desert sand. There's no water, Just scores of small fish wriggling together like a living stream, right in the middle of the dry, barren landscape. It's one bizarre phenomenon, and I have no answers for what's going on here. How are they even alive? I have so many questions. Desert Fortress. In the heart of a remote desert lies the ancient Nicene Fortress. It really is a structure filled with mystery. What sets this castle apart is its unique design. Unlike most historic Iranian castles, which typically have one central courtyard, Nicene features 3 interconnected courtyards spread across 3 levels. This design not only helped with defense, but also made the structure more suited to the desert climate. It is said no one inside here felt hot during the day, or even cold at night. The fortress is also home to 8 towering structures and a second-floor portico. Now that is an unusual feature in ancient architecture. River in desert. Thankfully, this one isn't made of fish, but believe me, it is just as weird. One day, in the middle of a vast desert, a river began to flow through the hot, dry sand out of nowhere. Just look at it. Where even is the water coming from? From the ground? But why is it gushing like someone left the tap open? One thing is for sure, the place has no river or even oasis nearby, so I cannot explain where the water is from. Can you? Megalodon Fossil.
Fossilized treasures from prehistoric times are being unearthed in Chile's Atacama Desert.
Did you know that Chile's Atacama Desert was once part of the Pacific Ocean? This place is a treasure trove of fossils. Huge ancient marine animals roamed these waters. Along with many other skeletons, one of the most exciting finds from here is the massive jawbone of the Megalodon. This shark was bigger than 70 feet, and it roamed these very seas long ago. Megalodon has a special place in history because not only was it huge, but no other animal came close to it. Even the whales these days cannot compare with the Meg. Hand of the Desert. We are not done with the Atacama Desert. Other than the Megalodon fossil, you'll find a stunning sculpture called the Hand of the Desert. This gigantic hand rises from the ground in a very dramatic way. It was created by artist Mario Irarrázaval. This sculpture reflects his fascination with hands emerging from the earth. It's like a giant wave of creativity breaking through the sand. Irarrázaval has made other large sculptures that explore similar themes. It shows the connection between humanity and nature. Yunan Dinosaur. In Yunnan province in southwest China, 2 sets of dinosaur fossils from the Jurassic period have been found. These fossils are believed to be over 180 million years old. One of the fossils belongs to a long dinosaur measuring around 9 meters in length. The discovered fossil is 5.3 meters long and includes several vertebrae and complete back legs. It's amazing how this particular fossil was about 70% complete when found, and it was buried in a layer of rock that dates back to the early Jurassic period. Even though parts of the dinosaur were missing, it's quite rare to uncover such well-preserved dinosaur remains from this time. Mysterious structure. It's one thing for researchers and archaeologists to make ancient discoveries, but this one was weirdly made by the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. They recently reported a shiny, reflective structure that appeared mysteriously in the area. The structure was shining under the bright Nevada sun. Authorities quickly responded to investigate the mysterious object, but they found no immediate signs of danger. Instead, they discovered that the structure was simply an art installation. Artists sometimes create these eye-catching pieces to make a name for themselves or to connect more with nature. Stone circles. Ever wondered where Egyptians got the idea for the giant pyramids? Look no further. Here is the footage of southern Egypt's Nubia. These are the ancient stone circles of Nabta Playa displayed in the outdoor area of the Nubian Museum in Aswan. These structures date back to around 6000 BC. One of the stones is shaped like a cow, and archaeologists have even found cow skeletons nearby. This shows that cattle were important to the people who lived there.
Possibly to 6000 BC, and this has been analysed by Thomas Brophy and Robert Bouval.
Researchers Robert Bouval and Thomas Brophy discovered that the stone formations may be aligned with the stars, specifically the constellation Orion. This has led some experts to believe that the design of the Giza pyramids, built much later, could have been inspired by this same star alignment. Fairy circles. Next up, in the Namib Desert, millions of curious formations known as fairy circles have left scientists scratching their heads for years. Inside these circles, the grass disappears while the surrounding areas remain lush and green. Originally, it was thought that termites were to blame, or that the plants themselves created the pattern. But now, a new theory linked to weather changes has emerged. In 2020, heavy rains fell in the typically dry desert, causing the land to turn green. By January 2021, another downpour of 228 millimeters hit the area. While the grass outside the circles thrived, something unusual happened inside the circles. 10 days after the rain, the grass began to fade, and by day 20, nearly all of it was gone. As expected, no evidence of termite activity was found. Bigfoot sighting. There are few legendary creatures that are still thought to exist. Some remote parts of the world. One of them is the famous Bigfoot, and this footage just might show its recent whereabouts. Because passengers on a scenic train ride through southwest Colorado claim to have spotted this being, even recorded it. As the train passed through a remote forested area, several people reported seeing a large, hairy figure moving quickly through the trees.
Alright, just squat it down.
It was almost 10 feet tall and walked on two legs, like humans, but it was hairy like an ape. The creature is believed to be Bigfoot. It could not have been a normal person because the size difference is huge. Crocodile Lake. In this next fascinating video coming from southern Africa, crocodiles have made a home in a lake right next to the desert. Despite the dry, harsh surroundings, these reptiles have adapted to the unique environment. Crocodiles are reptiles after all, so they know how to survive in dry weather. The lake seems to be fed by underground springs and provides just enough water to support them. Other than that, the area is surrounded by miles of arid desert. Lost plane. It is believed that hundreds of planes and their pilots went missing back in the World War. One of them was Henry. Decades after the brave pilot's final mission in World War II, this surprising discovery was made: the remains of his plane. For over 70 years, this site had been a mystery, hidden beneath the sands. To think that the aircraft, which went down all those years ago, was found in such great condition is amazing. It's almost like something or someone was taking care of it. Meteorite Treasure. Have you ever thought about going on a treasure hunt in the desert? Even if you did, I am sure it was not for meteorites. Now this is a whole different adventure from hunting in forests or oceans. In Morocco, the sudden discovery of these space rocks has created a lot of excitement, and to think they were discovered by local adventurers. We know that tens of thousands of asteroids fall to Earth every year, but still, finding a truly valuable one is quite rare. It's like a piece from the moon or Mars. Strange creature. This person spotted a hairless, Bigfoot-like creature in the Portuguese desert. The video captures this odd figure. The footage shows a tall being moving across the area. It walks like a human, but seems to be as big as a Bigfoot. It seems to have long arms and a unique way of walking, raising questions about whether it could be an unknown animal or perhaps even a cryptid sighting. given that this desert area is quite remote and is not often visited. It is an ideal place for strange creatures to live. What do you think? Is it a humanoid or a Bigfoot? Underground City. This place will definitely surprise you. Kwar Petit was once an opal mining town, but now holds a surprising secret underground. Strange white pipes stick up from the ground, hinting at something special below. Years of mining have created small hills, and around 60% of the town's people live underground. They've made their homes in the iron-rich sandstone and siltstone. From the surface, only ventilation shafts show that a hidden community exists beneath the desert. They have a totally vibrant community down there, and people are so happy they don't want to leave. Discovering Nimrod. Did you know that back in 62 BC, a civilization existed in Nimrod located in the Commagene region, which is now in southeastern Turkey? This culture stood out for its stunning architecture and a mix of influences from the Greeks, Persians, and Romans. One of the most remarkable sites in Nimrod is the mountaintop sanctuary called Nemrut Dağ. At the top, you'll find huge stone statues of gods and kings looking over the landscape. These impressive sculptures were built to honor King Antiochus. Mysterious footprints. In the Aya Mountains, near Chardo, researchers have uncovered ancient prints on the rocks. These include prints from cattle and giraffes, offering clues about the region's past, but some of them are still unidentified. Many believe they come from something unknown. Studies show that the area's climate and landscape have undergone significant changes over time. Could it be that some mysterious species existed here before going extinct? The plateau, which is now dry and barren, was once a dense forest. Over time, it changed into grassy plains, creating the perfect conditions for raising livestock, which brought humans, which in return brought animal extinction, like always. Kangaroo rat fossil.
Geoscientist has discovered the fossil of what's called a kangaroo rat.
Geoscientist Joshua Samuels discovered a fascinating fossil in Oregon called the Rat Doctor.
Dr. Joshua Samuels discovered that fossil that's a complete skull and a partial foot.
This fossil includes a complete skull and part of a foot, dating back about 23 million years. It offers a glimpse into the ecosystem of that time. Unlike today's kangaroo rats, which hop on two legs, these ancient relatives walked on all fours. This shows how much they have evolved over millions of years. The discovery helps scientists understand the variety of animals that lived in prehistoric Oregon and how they adapted to their environment, providing valuable insights into the history of life on Earth. And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. Now how about this for a find? A huge apparent rock formation or fossil resembling a dragon has been spotted in the Mauritanian desert, West Africa. Video of the site using the Google Map tool was posted by the channel UFO Mania. It really looks like a fossilized dragon. We can even see the fossilized contours of the head and even one eye quite clearly. What's crazy is that the size of these fossilized remains are 9,569 meters. Do you think a dragon that huge actually existed? Let me know in the comments below.